हेलो नमस्कार मैं दिल्ली से हेलो नमस्कार मैं
Namaste and welcome viewers, I'm Ashish Pareek and we're back here at the Bennett University campus. This is a brand new episode of Campus Mirror, and in this episode as well we brought a topic that of course affects each one of us. Whether you're buying groceries online or you're trying to find love, or you're trying to of course store your sensitive videos and photos, or if you're even trying to run a small business, everything today happens online, and well, nobody is free from the clutches, the invisible clutches of cyber criminals, and every single one of us is affected. In fact, the situation is dire across the world, but in India in particular, it's very important because in 2019, officially we had just 26,000 cyber complaints. Cut to 2024, we have 7,40,000 cyber complaints officially in just the first 4 months. So this is an issue that's affecting the common citizen, it's affecting businesses, it's affecting governments, it's affecting every single one. And that is why we are here at Bennett University to talk about this. And right now, we have the students here. All right, guys, I'll get you guys into the picture. How many of you use apps such as social media apps or fintech apps or any such apps? Quite a lot of you guys. Now, the reason why I did not ask about dating apps is because I thought a lot of you will not raise your hand. So I'll start off with you guys now. I'm sure even you come across a lot of instances where you come across a lot of fishy messages. Yeah. You are offered jobs, you're offered internships, you're offered a lot of things for a very fishy price. Yeah. So tell us your experience.
Recently I got a message where there was this person who was asking me, sir, we are offering you an internship, a marketing internship, where you just have to go to a site and you just have to rate the restaurant. And then we will pay you for that. So that was the deal. So
sounds like a good deal.
Yeah. And obviously they start with that, but then later on they're like, okay, we give you now now we need your account details so that we can send you the money. And then they ask most random account details which usually you do not need, but still they ask them, and then people get into those things, and obviously all of their money is taken out, and that is how all of these scams happen. Those messages I've gotten every time I've gone to an internship website. I put up for internship. Every time I get these messages a lot. So yeah, that happens.
So clearly, like he said, if it's too good to be true, it definitely is too good to be true. What's your experience?
Well, I've had the chance to use LinkedIn these days because we as law students find internships through LinkedIn and network with people. So a lot of times I've had to send text messages to people who seem to be verified, but in reality they are not verified. And just like Divyan said that, there are a lot of internship scams that happen online. Even I've been a victim to these scams. People show up as somebody they are not, and it leads to...
Are you talking about a dating app?
No, not the dating app, but a LinkedIn app, which is used for professional networking and internships and to gain experience. And I feel like using apps like LinkedIn to deceive people, I think it's something that we need more stronger protection with.
Absolutely. I mean, I was just trying to joke here, but the reality is the fact that even dating apps can turn out to be very fishy at times as well. And a lot of people are deceived, and we see a lot of these cases come to the fore as well. Any experience of yours?
About dating apps? I mean, like right from friends or anyone, well, there are a lot. Boys also face this because generally girls have concerns related to safety, right? That if they're meeting someone, is the information that they're providing correct? And even with the verified profiles, you can never trust them right enough. Boys, interestingly, on dating apps, as far as I've heard and read, face a lot of financial scams. And a friend of mine, it happened to like his friend that he went on a date, and then a girl took him to like a secluded area when he went to drop him home, and then they robbed his car and all of that stuff. So that happens quite a lot. So I think no one is safe. It's just that you're facing different risks.
Absolutely. It's like the Gen Z version of phishing. Earlier, people used to send out mails. Now they try reaching out over apps like Tinder and other apps as well. Any such experiences you come across, not just dating apps, any other apps as well, because we see a lot of these scams happen as well. For example, digital arrest is something that's in trend these days. Any such experience?
Well, I've not gotten experience of actual scams as much, but I've gotten message by a lot of random people who text me that, this is job opening is there, you want to apply for this job, or on Instagram where someone acts as another person and they text me ki I want you to send me this much money and such. So I usually just have some fun with them. I text them back, ki acha itna paisa chahiye, how much money do you want? Oh, this. But I feel like ki if someone does not know about such people, or they realize ki, oh, they actually need help, ki like, oh, this person's wallet is not working, I should send them some money. So these kind of problems can crop up time to time.
Absolutely. But it's scary, isn't it? How easily they can access your information, they can reach out to you. In fact, a lot of these people even have access to our social media handles, our personal numbers, WhatsApp numbers. I mean, how do you think this happens?
I think the internet is actually pretty breachable, and it is still relatively new if we talk about it. It is like the dot-com bubble is only 25 years old. So, and not enough has been done, not enough has been invested to make it a more secure place. So there is a lot, and it is always emerging, it is always advancing. The AI that has now risen, I think AI also leaves space for more sort of cybercrime. So there is always potential for more and more cybercrimes, and not enough is done to curb it. So there is always like cybercrime are ahead in the race of.
Correct. So it's a lot of unchecked growth is what you're saying. And of course, anyone else that wants to talk about their experiences online, any scams or anything that you've gone through, all right, we have one more here. One of your friends here was talking about dating apps. One other was talking about LinkedIn. Where did you get scammed?
Okay, hi. So basically, I got scammed on Instagram, and it was in a very indirect way. So basically, there was someone who made my fake profile, and they were pretending to be me, and they had blocked me. So obviously, I had no idea. And this happened at least 3 times, despite me complaining 100 times to Instagram. And for the process of, even complaining about, this whole profile thing, and me, telling that this account exists and stuff like that, they asked me about my own, Aadhaar card and as a person I exist and stuff like that. So that was kind of very intimidating. Like, I'm in a state like, oh my God, what is this? And that is just not a fake account. That account is sending people miscellaneous links under my name. They're literally trying to be like, okay, Navsheen Kaur is applying for a fashion contest and something like that. And then they send a link in their DM. And then when the person clicks the DM, they go to a very weird website in which there are like unsafe links and stuff like that. And maybe their Instagram accounts might be hacked or their phone can be hacked.
Absolutely. Something so dangerous, and the maximum penalty that they'll probably pay is the account getting blocked, and they'll create a new one. Do you think that the fact that there's a lot of punishment when it comes to all of these things, do you think that also acts as a catalyst for all of these people to go ahead, carry out such scams, because they know nothing much is going to happen?
Yeah, I think the fact that we don't have like a very strong legal framework that restricts this from happening also is like encouraging people. Also the lack of awareness, because like the baseline for everything is the awareness that people have about something. And because this is a fairly new like crime that has arisen in the past few years, as you mentioned, from 2019 to 2024, because of that a lot of people are unaware that this is something that they can be like attacked in like a form that they should be aware of. So because of that, that's also something that we should consider.
Absolutely. In fact, there's this notion that younger people don't fall for such scams, and they know a lot about these scams and a lot of other things. But the reality is a lot of young people fall for it. And we see a lot of youngsters fall for these scams very easily. I mean, you might hear about it later and you might laugh about it, but when you're actually in that situation, you're manipulated in such a way that you actually end up giving your passwords, your money, and a lot of other information as well. Why do you think youngsters fall for it despite such information available online?
I think one of the main reasons for this could be that they sense the desperation, and they also reach out to people who might be looking for a certain opportunity or information online. So what happened with me this one time was that they, I think, figured out that I'm looking for paid internships and stuff. So they reached out to me and they said that you have to pay this certain amount, then we'll send you the offer letter and certifications and everything. And what happened is I paid that amount, and then there was a loop to that. There was an entire feedback loop where I had to send OTPs again and again, and then more and more money kept getting deducted out of that.
Oh, so you lost money?
Yeah, I did lose money over that, yeah. I think that is what I'm trying to say. The information they got about me was really specific. This person is looking for internships, and the level at which they are applying shows the kind of desperation they have. So absolutely. I think they could figure that out, yeah.
Absolutely. Do you think the attack is first mental and then it's a cyber attack? First they mentally attack you, they find out what really you need, what you're desperate for, and then they try attacking you?
Obviously, and also I think they have observed that youngsters are in a hurry right now, so they just make that panic attack on them, like do it in a like very fast or something, so that they can then give them that chance to think about it twice. Like what happened with me, they just called me in the morning. They know that maybe I am traveling, I will be in a hurry. They called me like. So basically, your father had told me to transfer you some money. They have like maybe analyzed my bank accounts or something. They told me that your father told me to send you some money, and then what they did is they like, we have to send you 13,000, so I'm sending you 10 and then 3. So when they're like, by mistake I have sent you 30 instead of 3, so just return me the money back and everything. So when I checked the message, it was like whenever you get any money or something, like you get a message from your bank account, but that message was from a number. But the message was correctly like that you get from your bank account or something, that amount is being credited to your bank and everything. So maybe they get that panic attack thing.
So it's funny almost the fact that almost half of the students that I've spoken to so far, everyone has been scammed. And it's so prevalent that we're all almost used to it. And what's more shocking is that there's not much action that has been taken so far. Why do you think the government is not acting? I mean, you complain to the police, a complaint is lodged, they try to take action. But in most cases, almost 80% of the cases, you don't really hear back.
One of the most relevant incident happened with me. My father got a call.
So you were scammed as well?
My father got a call saying that I am taking my name and so is your daughter and son, and the person didn't know that whether I'm a she or a male or female, so they scammed like a way ki your daughter is being stuck in a place and we need a money. So but with the chance, my father just noticed the code, the country code. It was not an Indian code, it was a Pakistani number. So ultimately he googled it out, he figured it out, but he was like bit aware. Coming on to the point ki why we are not aware, government is not making. In such case, taking an example of my father ignored it. He was not like ki why to go and complain like a way. So people are aware, but certainly they avoid going to the like cyber.
You don't want that headache of actually going there and reporting it and going through all of those things. I mean, guys, I'm not going to be surprised if any one of you also has been scammed, because almost everyone that I've spoken to here has been scammed. All right, so you've been scammed as well.
Yeah, I have.
Let us know about your incredible experience online.
It was a phone call that I received, and they said they are my father's friend. And for a moment I was shocked because it's been years since my father passed away. So I was like, why are you calling right now? So he's like, I have borrowed money from him and I want to return. He gave me your account number, so I'll be just returning it to you. And for a moment I did not understand why this is happening. I mean, how can he give my account number? And then I received a message that this much amount has been transferred to your account, and it was from a number, obviously not from a bank. And then obviously I understood that it's a scam, so I was like, please just cut the call. I'm not getting into this trap again.
So you actually got the money from that account?
Yeah, not from an account. It was from a number, but the message was exactly how a bank.
All right. So you did not get the amount in the bank. You just got a message claiming that the amount had been transferred. What about you?
Someone called, and through some AI technology, they said that आपकी बेटी jail में फंस गई and we're asking for money, and they actually mimicked my voice. This happened in front.
Oh, so this is actually a case of digital arrest.
Yeah, it happened in front of me, and it was like exactly my voice. I don't know where they got
All
it.
right, I want to know more about this, viewers, because the reason why I want to talk more about this is because even the Prime Minister today, in fact this week, spoke about digital arrest. He said that this is one of the major issues in the country right now, and there is no rule in India that anyone can be arrested digitally. So what exactly happened with you? You went through a digital arrest scam. What exactly happened?
Basically, we were sitting, it was just a Sunday afternoon, and my dad got a call, and they were like, हम इस पुलिस थाने से बोल रहे हैं, आपकी बेटी को पकड़ लिया है for drink driving. I had just got my license like a week before, and I was just sitting there, and my dad was like, I want to talk to my daughter. And actually, I don't know, through some AI or something, they actually mimicked my exact voice.
So they knew you got a license recently. They knew what your voice sounded like. Okay.
And they generated that voice, and of course my dad didn't pay money or anything because I was right there in front of him, but that is what happened.
Okay, this is interesting. Now, because the reason why I say this is interesting is because a lot of times when these scams happen, we look back at these people and we say that, well, how stupid, how can someone fall for it? But when you actually mimic a voice, when you time a scam so perfectly, that's scary as well. Have you had any such experience?
Sir, actually I had an experience very similar to this one, but it was from a text number, a number that looked identical to mine. So that was like my father got a text from my phone number saying that Papa, I need help. He called me and I was not able to pick because I was somewhere busy. But then eventually he called my brother and everyone, my friends from college, and when I did pick, he was like, oh, message repeatedly aa raha tha, Papa help chahiye, itne paise chahiye, and he would have put it in my account right there. So wo extra account likh ke aaya that put it in this account. And I don't know how it happened, how you used my account. So what I think is like, we believe ki hamare sath kyun hi hoga, we are like God's favorite. But that's what my father used to say before that incident कि हमारे साथ नहीं होता, हमने कुछ नहीं करा. But that's what happens कि कभी भी किसी के भी साथ होता है, and we need to like, we all know how to do it, but हम लोग aware नहीं रहते हैं because क्यों ही होगा हमारे साथ.
Absolutely. Awareness. That's a good word that you use here, because awareness is very important. Now, a lot of your friends here have been scammed. Now, I don't want to hear about any more scam stories. I just want to understand from you, what are the things that you take care of to ensure that you are not scammed online? Because I'm sure any app that you use, any service you download, there is one or the other scamster trying to loot your money. So how do you stay safe online?
So I would say there are multiple checkpoints I can take whenever I'm going on a...
So you're talking about the red flags. What are the red flags that you notice?
So for example, if I'm going for a transaction, so I can just check the URL. If that starts with HTTP, that is probably a scam. Because if it's a transaction site, it usually secures it with a HTTPS protocol.
Okay.
So a recent thing happened. My father was flying to Odisha. He was booking a ticket. So he just, for a confirmation, should know this is the bank page this is showing. This is a little fishy. Can you check it? The first red flag was there in the URL itself. The HTTP was there. So, it's most probably a scam. Just erase it all. Do a fresh booking from an official site. Okay. So the first basic I can see. And another thing you said, if it is too good to be true, probably it's not. So yeah, those are few check marks I just make sure.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know about the link thing, which of course is a new thing that I'm learning today. What about you? What do you do to ensure that whatever service, whatever app you're using, you're safe on there?
So the first thing is check whether how familiar I am with, or are other people who knows about this site or app. So because the thing is, when we personally people have experience with this app, it gives us a security कि हाँ ये app ठीक है, इसको इस्तेमाल किया जा सकता है, secured है. So the best thing is use the official sites and do not go for some schemes जिसे हमें फायदा हो जाए, because too good to be true need not be true.
Absolutely. So that's again one of the red flags that has to be noticed. So we've spoken a lot about the youngsters. We've spoken about different types of scams. Let's also talk about the one particular type of population that's actually the most vulnerable. We're talking about elders now. A lot of scams we see happens with people who are not really familiar with that app, service, or any digital entity. So how do we keep our older generation safe from these kind of scams? Because we might stay safe, we might know what to do, but someone calls your dad, tells them, like for example happened with one of your friends here, tells them that your son is in danger, send us money. How do we keep our elders safe?
I think more or less it becomes the responsibility of the children also, because now that we being educated enough, we also owe them a responsibility to tell them about certain things. So if we talk about older generations, they are not aware and they are not so well versed with the technology, and they are at a place where they would not be able to. Some have eyesight problems and medical issues there. So they should be made aware of the helpline numbers. There exist helpline numbers for cybersecurity issues, and I think they should be taught about it, and it is a responsibility of the children and our parents for that matter to let them know of this service.
Now the government is also doing a lot of things. For example, there are going to be 5,000 cyber commandos in the next 5 years. There's an Indian cybercrime control center as well that has been set up. But still, the number of cases keep going up. What more do you think the government needs to do?
I also feel like before the government doing something, there is also the need of normalizing this thing. For example, one of the cyber crime cases happened with me. One of my pictures were posted and I was sitting right there and just contemplating if I am supposed to file an EFIR without letting my parents know.
If you're comfortable sharing, what exactly happened with you?
So there was this meme page of this where a picture of mine, not but a picture of mine with a vulgar music was shared on Instagram, and I had no idea who was running that account, and I commented on that account that you need to take off this picture, and I went to the POSH committee, I went to the DSA, I went to the SWO, but they were not able to find out who was this person, because the moment I went to them, the account was deleted from Instagram. So they did not leave any traces of who they were. So I could not find them, but then all of them told me to file an EFIR and file a complaint on the cybercrime portal of the government. And I was sitting, but then I was also wondering if if I can tell this to my parents, they still do not know about the situation. So I was scared because maybe it's not normalized at my home. That also means that you need to normalize this first at your home, then only something will happen, and these methods and these steps that are taken by the government is going to work. The normalization is very important.
Absolutely. In fact, it's an interesting point that you made there. The fact that there is some sort of a stigma around cybercrime cases, and even in my experience, when I try speaking to a lot of cybercrime victims in my stories as well that I do, a lot of cybercrime victims are scared because they think they'll be made fun of in the society. People will laugh at them कि ये online कैसे पागल बन गए. You know, there's this sort of a stigma as well. Have you had any such experience, or have you seen anyone getting scammed like that? Because stigma around cybercrime is also something that really exists.
I am a member of the Legal Aid Committee of School of Law here, and while surveying at the villages nearby, we have heard that though they are introduced to schemes like they have bank accounts and everything through the government schemes, but they are still not able to access it. And there was one incident where a vegetable seller here wasn't able to get his money. He was getting UPI payments for all the vegetables he was selling, but he could not get all of the money. He lost around 4-5 lakhs in that, and he did not know how to approach the app and how to approach the government. So I would suggest the government should actually, with introducing these technologies, should also hold camps or awareness schemes here also in the rural areas.
Absolutely. So there are a lot of steps taken, like for example the direct benefit transfer and everything, but still there are some loopholes that are being exploited by these cyber criminals. We'll just wrap this up in a bit, but let me tell us about your experience online, what it's been like, and also what are the sort of scams do you think happens the most with youngsters?
Yeah, well, as you already asked us not to you don't want to know more about these scams, but there was a scam which I faced on email. I received a mail about the pornography. Started. So initially I got panicked, but then of course I was aware about the scams. I was informed that these happens, and there's a certain ways they lure us in the trap. So I didn't got trapped there. So you should have awareness about certain things. You should have aware about how the scam happens, how they lure us into that trap. So they are the things which are maybe helpful for the people not to get trapped into the certain things.
Correct. Also, do you think it's very important to have supportive friends, supportive support system? Because what happens is usually when someone loses some money, they're scared to talk to anyone about it, and then they end up paying more, and then it keeps repeating until their account is completely flushed out. Do you think it's very important to also share it with your friends and people that you trust, whatever's happening with you?
I think there's a lot of shame that comes up with this cyberbullying crimes. We need to understand that there's power in sharing our stories, and with being able to share it with our close friends or a close peer group itself, we are able to make them aware as well about these issues, and that way I think it also puts an end to the cybercrime that happens.
What happened with me was I was being in Bangalore. I was studying in Bangalore for my bachelor's. So when I had to shift here, so I have to leave Bangalore and I have to I posted all my furniture pictures and videos of all those things in OLX. So a guy contacted me and he's like, I'm interested in buying all those stuff. So he came and met me. So he went back and then he sent me a QR code saying that can you pay me 1 rupee? I'll pay you the rest amount, whatever it is, like 30,000. So I was like, okay, fine. I paid him 1 rupee to check whether my account is fine or not. Then he deducted the 30,000 rupees from my account, and my whole bank account was nil. I had no money. I had to shift here, and my parents were coming. I had to borrow money from others, and I had to go and pick them up. So it was, and also it was my hard-earned money that I incomed out of my part-time jobs and all. So
it is of course sad. In fact, you'd be surprised to know I've heard about the exact same scam with another person, a college student in Bangalore, and this seems to be a pattern that's repeating across the board, across various cities as well. Before we wrap, I'll just speak to a couple of students here.
I think that with any government initiative in India, the main problem is that policies can always exist on paper, but for them to be effective, you need an efficient reporting and some sort of feedback mechanism, because implementation matters more than just making the law or passing an act. So I think that matters more. they just need to like spruce up a bit. They need to work more efficiently.
Absolutely. So the system has to be fixed. And meanwhile, viewers, that's it from my end here at Bennett University. Of course, I had come here to speak just to the students, but as I found out, there are more victims here than just students, and a very interesting demographic here, also pointing out at the fact that this entire issue with cybercrimes in India is very widespread, something that happens with almost everyone, but the problem is also about the stigma that is attached to cybercrime, something that prevents a lot of people from talking about it. So again, the message at the end of the day is that while we do adopt digital technology and of course new revolutions, it's also important to always carry a blanket of cyber protection. It's also important to stay safe. That's it from my end on this episode of Campus Mirror. Lots more lined up next week. Stay tuned.